Today I'll be tying Arrick's parachute ant. This has been a really effective fly for me in Montana when I fish during the summertime and no other hatches are coming out. I generally fish this. I like it in this cinnamon caddis. And if you notice on the bottom, the contrast in the middle is the brown thread. So it's a cinnamon ant with brown in the middle. So this has been a really effective fly. I plan to use this black one next year when I go out fishing. So we'll start tying the fly. I'll put a hook in the vise. This hook is a Daiichi 1100, size 16. For my thread, I'm using some Danville 70 denier or 6/0 black. I start behind the eye of the hook and place touching turns going down. And then back up to about the 1/3 mark. And I'll trim the thread. Before I get too far, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Hitting the like button will help the YouTube algorithm and other people will hopefully see this video then. For the post, I'm using something called Fintex slipper and craft yarn. I'll put a link down in the description below to Amazon where you can pick this up. This is just some poly, the best I've used. I just really enjoy it. And on a size 16, what I will do is split this. I just take my bodkin and open up the fibers if they're twisted at all. And I take about half of a hank. And I'll roll it to get it tight back again. I'm just going to trim this off screen over my wastebasket. And I like to tie this, all of my parachutes I like to tie in before I tie in the rest of the fly. It really helps with proportions and tapers. In this particular fly, you could argue it isn't as important, but it's just a technique that I use. So I've placed 2 wraps around it just to hold it. And then I'll place 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'll notice that I'm a counter. And then I'll trim it at an angle. I use a variety of dubbing for these. I'll be tying today with black. This is Trout Hunter Renee Harrop black. And it's a good one that I really enjoy. This is their cinnamon caddis color. But you don't have to purchase supplies from them. This happens to be some cinnamon caddis, super fine. It's a hairline product. And you notice the color. Another option is this March Brown color. I really like it. It's got some UV in it. This is a Spirit River product, UV2 dubbing, fine and dry. And again, it's this, let's see if I get it on the screen. It's March Brown color. But today we'll be using black. So let me pull some dubbing out. I'll start applying a little bit at a time. I moisten my fingers so it goes around the thread much easier. Just squeeze and twist one direction. And try not to put on a lot of dubbing at a time. And we're going to create a bulbous back body of an ant. So as I start taking a few wraps, I will go around the bend. Most of the time, fly tires stop right at the barb, but this one will go around the bend and come back up, and then I'll start making kind of crisscrossing wraps around the area where I want the major part. I've trapped a little bit on my hook point. But you notice I'm just kind of going back and forth with a figure 8 or an X in order to create more bulk in the middle of that area. The one downside of this dubbing is that it's some shorter fibers, and so they will catch, and you can just trim them. I don't have a problem fishing this fly. The moisture makes it kind of all combined in one little bulk area. So we'll trim some of that. Get it on your side too. And then what I will do is place a few thread wraps of just black thread. And this creates the segmentation, not on a black one, but if I'll go back to this cinnamon ant, you can notice that there's the brown thread right in the middle. And if you're tying them with contrasting colors, that's important to have a wider gap in there. I'll flatten my thread, pull up the post, and I'm going to place a few thread wraps in here just to help stand up the post. And I'll speed up here a little bit just to save some time. I'll flatten my thread again. And then I'm going to place thread wraps up the post, and that's where I will tie in my hackle and wrap down, which I'll show in a moment. And I used to wrap it like this, but I find that if I tilt it towards me and hold on to it, it's much easier to place those wraps. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 12 or 14. And then I come back, and this will help keep that post upright. I'll go around the hook and then begin wrapping again, just touching turns up to the top. We'll do that one more time. So I just went around the hook and then up the post and then down the post. They don't have to be touching turns at that point. Notice my thread is behind the post, and I will tie in the hackle right in front of the post. For hackle, I'm using some Whiting Hebert Minor. It's a black saddle. It's a size 16. I've opened up the fibers, and I will strip those off, and that will be my tie-in point. So you can tie the hackle in either way you like it. Some of them, the cupping will be up as you tie it, and others will be down. So if I have the shiny side towards the parachute post and I come down, then those fibers will go down and around the fly a little bit. I want them up, just a personal preference. So I'm going to tie the shiny side, if I can see it again, towards me. Just double check. Again, I have the thread behind the post, and I will make my first wrap in front of the post. There's a second wrap, and then I will go around Go around the hackle and the post, and I'm going to turn it towards me, make sure I've got it set right. Sometimes that hackle twists, which it just did. So let me start over. I have the hackle towards me, the shiny side. And I'll take touching turns on the way up, and then just back down with a few wraps. Put some more dubbing for the front of the body. And we'll use a sparingly amount of dubbing this time. It won't be a lot. We want to create just a little bit of a bulk in the area. I'll pull it out of the way. I start at the eye and move back towards the post. And you can see that it's starting to get a little bit bigger. I'll go around the post and in front, around, in front. So I'm trying to keep this area open where I have that segmented body. Make sure that I have my dubbing around, and I will end behind the post, and that'll be important as I tie it off, as I tie off the hackle. As I pull this down, I'm making sure that I have the shiny side down, and as I begin to wrap, make sure that it doesn't twist. And then go down with each wrap. That was 5.5 wraps, and I'll take my thread then, and the reason you had it behind the post is you make that first wrap and it catches the hackle, and you can wiggle it back, your thread back and forth a little bit, so it won't tie any down. That's just 3 wraps. I'll pull the hackle out of the way, and we're ready to have a whip finish. I'll pull out my head cement. I like to put on just a couple of drops right on the thread before I whip finish. We'll pull the hackle out of the way again. A 5-turn whip finish and pull tight. Trim the thread and any few barbs. I'll pull the hackle upward and trim. And there's your fly, and then the last step is just trimming the post to length, and I will want it about this far. I find that if I pull it next to me or close to me, then I can easily visualize what it should be, and that's your fly. That's the Arrick's parachute ant. I'll link the fly pattern sheet below to my RiverKeeper fly website. And again, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the near future.